Welcome to the Mindful Business Podcast, where we have conversations about building businesses with our mental and physical health in mind. It's been a minute since I did a podcast recording, and there are a few reasons for it, and we're going to get into it today. But firstly, I am officially in the new recording space for the podcast. So I set this up a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, this is hopefully where most of the interviews will take place going forward. Now, it's been a while, and like I said, there are a few reasons for it. Honestly, a lot of them are really normal reasons, especially when someone is trying something new. It's been, I don't even know how long it's been. It's been weeks, maybe months since the last recording that we did with Alan. And I'm not going to lie, every week that went by that I didn't do a recording or kind of invest into putting energy into this podcast, a lot of doubt started to creep in. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been wrestling with a lot of imposter syndrome and social comparison. And both of those things were making it less and less appealing to show up again. But I'm here and I want to talk about it because it is very genuinely part of the journey, especially when someone's trying something new and, life gets in the way, feelings get in the way. And from the very beginning, I said that I would share this journey authentically and transparently with everyone. And this is part of it. So let's talk about why I nearly quit. We were kind of starting to ride a bit of a high. I was really starting to enjoy the interviews that we were having. I had a really cool interview with Alan from C Results, and I had a couple of interviews lined up with really lovely people who I think can bring really cool value to the conversations. And I was just feeling like, yeah, this could really work. But halfway through my interview with Alan, my camera broke. And we laughed it off in the moment, wasn't a big deal. Life happens, things happen, technical difficulties and all that. It didn't ruin the interview, but I did think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get this camera fixed before the next one. Now, I have a very old camera, so old that no one is willing to fix it. And that means that I need to buy a brand new camera in order to keep recording podcasts. Now, new cameras are really expensive. A lot more expensive than I expected. I'm not sure if you know how expensive cameras are, because I haven't bought a camera in over a decade. So the price has gone up, and I'm not going to lie, it did give me a bit of a shock because, for context, if you aren't aware, this podcast is a passion project of mine. I'm a brand designer. That is my day job. I'm a freelance designer. And this podcast is a passion project of mine. I don't get any income from it, and I film in my free time in between work. So in order to buy a new camera, I would either need to take out of my savings, or I would need to use my business cash flow in order to fund the podcast. Now, I had a problem with that because the year was just kicking off and my cash flow is in recovery from the holidays and kind of just getting back into the rhythm of things. So to take money out of my business into something that isn't generating income, I was having trouble justifying that. So I made the call that, at least for this episode, I would film with my phone instead, and I would postpone a couple of those valuable interviews that I'm really looking forward to, and we will still have them. I'm going to postpone them a little bit until I can build up a bit of a cash reserve and savings to buy a new camera. And we'll just have to take it in that way. So that's been really tricky because I felt like I was getting into a flow with something with this podcast, and to have it suddenly paused was quite disappointing. And I've been just managing that mentally. But obviously the doubt was then creeping in of like, oh, is it even worth picking up again? Is it worth it? Do people actually care? All these horrible things, all this doubt in my head on questioning something that I actually really do believe in. So that's been going on. Alongside that, I have also been working on a second business that I started. So I started an online print shop. And the idea behind this is to create a source of passive income for myself and my family, hopefully to support some of my family members within the next year. And yeah, it's just an online print store with beautiful artwork, some quirky things. So I've been building a couple of collections over the last couple of weeks, and that shop has been live for about a month, and I have not sold a single print. And that's tough. It's tough to have something that you are excited about and believe in feel like it doesn't resonate with anyone, or no one's connecting with it, or no one's even seeing it. And again, I think that happening alongside the podcast being paused, two of my passion projects both were being met with a lot of resistance. And I just kind of hit a bit of a spiral. When I hit a spiral, something I tend to do is I freeze. So my mom used to call me an ostrich because when I was younger, I used to just hide my head in the sand whenever something was going wrong, and I would pretend like it didn't exist. And I think to some degree, I still do that now, but I think that now I try and view it as more of an opportunity to regroup. And that's kind of what the last month has been for me. So I did freeze, and I kind of got into a bit of a rut and a bit of a mental funk. And I've had my moment, but this week I decided that I really do believe in the things that I'm doing, and I need to wake up and I need to start creating some movement forward. Now, in order to do that, I need to step back and review the whole situation. This is something I actually do with my clients quite a lot when we're doing strategy and business strategy, is taking a step back and getting a different perspective. And that's exactly what I needed to do. It's a classic thing of we don't really practice what we preach. So I'm trying that now. Some of the questions I was asking myself was, what needs to change? What needs to be adjusted? And how do we kind of correct the course? Obviously with the podcast, I know what needs to change. I need to save money and buy a camera and maybe just put less pressure on myself. And for the print business, I need to market it. Now, a big part of the review and stepping back and reviewing the situation was also asking, what am I doing for myself or to myself? And a big part of that was this concept of social comparison. As someone who spends a lot of time online, I share my work, I share my passions, I share my life, my general life on social media, and then I also consume social media. It is quite difficult not to automatically compare yourself with what you see online. And social comparison is actually very natural. It's very normal as human beings. We tend to compare ourselves to those around us and the world around us. It's actually a very key part in why humans grow and push themselves in society, is because they are working with and against those around them. And the only problem is that when that social comparison is forming in discouragement. So if it's discouraging me to work on my business instead of motivating me to work on my business, something needs to change. And that's the point that I felt like I was reaching. I was seeing businesses and podcasts and online print shops online and thinking, I'm not like that and I'm not there yet. And, is my business going to get there? But it wasn't a driving motivation. It was a discouraging and doubting myself. So I needed to stop doing that entirely. I needed to unfollow all those accounts, and I needed to just focus on what I'm doing and not worry about what anyone else is doing as the standard. A very key part of this, and it's something that I need to wake up to, and I've been trying to wake up to, is timing and timeline. I've been spending the last couple of weeks thinking that people don't care about the business and people don't care about the podcast and, all these doubts in my head, when in reality, I forgot to recognize that I've only been doing these things for a matter of months. So, I mean, the print shop has been open for 1 month, and I didn't market it before that. And the podcast has only been going for a couple months, and I haven't put as much energy as maybe I could into it. So instead of thinking something's wrong with what I'm doing, it's more about the way I'm doing it. It took me 5 years to build my freelance business. 5 years. And yet I expected these two passion projects to take off within a matter of months. I think we see a lot of businesses online go viral and succeed, but we forget about the 90% of businesses that are built slowly and over time. So to expect my passion projects to catapult into existence was just quite unrealistic, and I set unrealistic expectations for myself and therefore got let down. So we're pivoting expectations, we're making them more realistic, but we're also going to make our actions more intentional, knowing what I now expect and what I want to do. So even when I'm tired, and even when technology is giving me hassles and I am doubting myself, I need to put the work in. Even if it's small action and slow action, it's still movement and momentum forward, so that at least bit by bit, I know I'm progressing towards the goal that I want to achieve. And that is, I think, where I'm settling into now. I mean, literally, I just woke up out of this funk about 3 days ago and felt like I just need to get straight back on the horse and do this recording so that we would kick off on a better note. So that's what we're trying to do at the moment. We're trying to just work with the doubt and manage expectations and build more realistically and just take a little bit of the pressure off at the moment, because I don't do things halfway. I dive headfirst, full in, all efforts, guns blazing. But I think that what happens is I get burnt out and I lose momentum, and then I start doubting myself. So we're trying to create a more realistic approach at the moment. So this is just a touch base on what's been going on over the last couple of weeks and how I've been feeling and how it's all going. And the fact that it got messy actually quite fast, and it got hard quite fast. And that's just life and it's just business. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It doesn't mean that it's a bad idea. It just means that I need to work consistently at it and consciously at it. And I'm going to do that with you guys. So those conversations that I mentioned that we were going to have, we're still going to have them. I'm back in touch with those people, and we will be scheduling those interviews really soon, because I think that it's going to help fuel me and make me feel better about the direction that we're taking this in. So if you're feeling the way I'm feeling, then just come along for the journey. We can experience this together. If you want to talk about, the shit times that you're going through in your business, pop me a message, give me a call, whatever. I think that's the whole thing, is that I've had a couple wonky months, and that's just realistic, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't get better. And it doesn't mean we can't take small action and put in the work and make some change to achieve what we want to achieve. So yeah, going to try stop the social comparison. Like I said, it's natural, but I think the extent to which we compare ourselves can maybe be better managed. And that's something that I'm going to work on going forward. So not everything needs to be a giant leap forward. It can just be a soft decision not to quit. So that's where we are right now. It's not perfect. It's not entirely confident. It's optimistic, as always. And I think for today, that is enough. I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Mindful Business Podcast. If this resonates with you, please follow along, share it with a friend or a family member who you think could benefit from it. Leave a review, a comment, a question. I'd love to hear from you. What are you struggling with? What do you want to know about? Also, don't forget to take a break today. You're allowed to go at your own pace. See you next time.